Pack 18 begins. Special Projects is back for another month, of course, and I'm hoping that if we do get an update from Polyphony this month, it should time out quite nicely, because as we move through this week, then possibly on the weekend we'll get the silhouettes and stuff from Polyphony for a new update. So we'll have to see if we can get some juicy stuff back to back. Regardless of that, though, of course, that's the whole point of Special Projects in this form, to give us something to do while we're waiting around for actual updates. And we're kicking off with another Porsche 911 variant. This is one which was suggested by a few different people over the months and months, I guess years almost at this point, that I've been doing these packs, and it is of course the 997 generation Sport Classic. Very, very iconic, immediately recognisable version of the 911, and it's a pretty easy build to do. Of course, you will need to buy the GT3, the 2009 shape as a base model, but in terms of what you actually need to do to it, of course, quite a few people have done a livery for this one. I love what this player has done. It looks to me pretty close to spot on for the car, at least as far as what you can do to it. Obviously, the exhaust being in the middle isn't quite right, but, you know, stuff like that we can't really change. As far as the actual bits and bobs, though, we've got the sports brake pads, because why not? Make it a bit more drivable. We've got the sports hards already fitted, so I've left it on there. For the club sports section, we've got the power restrictor and the ballast, as well as the sports clutch and flywheel. Again, why not? Makes the car feel a little bit more than just a power restriction. As far as the semi-racing stuff, of course, the fully customised diff. I've gone for the height-adjustable sports suspension, just to give it a bit more of a unique handling profile and change it up a bit more from a GT3. As far as the racing section, nothing much, if anything, fitted there. As far as the extreme stuff, I haven't gone for anything there either. And for the ultimate section, there as well. So it's actually quite an affordable build, aside from building, or aside from, I guess I should say, buying the car itself. So if you've already got a GT3 laying around, well, now you know what to do with it. As far as the actual build, though, as we jump into the tuning section of things, of course, we've got the hards on there. You can see 406 horses, 1,425 kilos. It seems a bit different depending on where you look. Some places say 1450, some 1425, some 1475. So I thought, well, since it's for fun anyway, and we're making it heavier than the GT3 is anyway to begin with, well, why not give it the benefit of the doubt and make it 1425 anyway? So you could go for whichever numbers you want to, but that's what I've done. And in terms of the point level on sports hards being 576, that could be quite useful for some career mode events or online events if you wanted to use it. Just fractionally, you could get it down to 575, for example, if you wanted to. As far as the suspension, though, we've got 105mm and 115. Of course, 1 on the anti-roll with these. 25 and 43 is what I've gone for with the dampers. 2.3 for the springs, a little bit of camber, just 1 degree front and back. Of course, the toe is set as is with this suspension. As far as the diff, of course, with a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive car, each has their own preference. For me, I love how this one handles. You'll see it out at the, the Alps, or Eiger, whatever they're calling it these days. But you'll see how it is around really, really tight hairpin bends, and it's really good. Of course, it's a road car, it weighs 1,400 kilos, so there's a little bit of weightiness, but it's very, very nimble. So if you want to change it for maybe wider open tracks, or if you need to, of course you can, but give it a try and see what you think of this setup. As far as the transmission, of course, that was standard. Just a slight reduction on the power restrictor to 95%. 30 kilos of ballast. I've opted to leave that where it is, so of course again you could change that if you wanted to, and then over here there's pretty much nothing that we've done with it because you don't need to. So that's it for the build. Super brief kick-off for the week, if you will, and as I said, we'll jump out to the track now and show you what the car can do in practice. Now, one of the main notes which I made after driving this one was not only is it as nimble and as fun and as quick as you'd expect and hope it would be, which of course is from it being an actual GT3 underneath, but also there was one thing in particular which I really wanted to capture about this, which, at least in my opinion, and of course I'm biased, so I'd love to hear from you if you decide to use it, and that was I wanted to capture the spirit of the 911, if you will, because to me that's what the point of the Sport Classic is. It's a throwback to the origins, the iconic RS ducktail with the 2.7, that kind of pastel minimalist look with a little iconic ducktail, as I said, and to me it does pull it off pretty well. Obviously visually it does, but for the tuning you'll have to test it and see what you think for yourself. For me, it really boils this car down to its purest form. It doesn't have a huge amount of power, doesn't have some ultra lightweight advantage, it's just a really nice 911 experience. And to be honest, it kind of does remind me of when I drove, of course, a far more affordable version, a 997 Carrera in real life, and that was to this day one of my favourite handling cars I've ever been in, specifically the 997 compared to other 911s, and this kind of feels like that vibe. So to me, I'm really happy with it. You'll have to give it a try and see what you think. It's the kind of vehicle where it's perfect if you've got a GT3 lying around that you're not doing anything with. So of course, give it a try, see what you think. Stick around for all 9 of the other builds this week. The next one, of course, coming out later on today. But for now, thanks for watching.